Put it away. Don't do it. Welcome to Cheese, a Healthy Fruit, a podcast where two sisters reminisce on growing up in rural Wisconsin. I'm Cydel.
And I'm Jade.
Why did you look so disgusted while I was saying that?
Well, I was just I was following along with the words. And I have a burp brewing. We're drinking beer right now.
We are.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We just had taquitos from the microwave, so we're doing great right now.
Still some of mom's taquitos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, actually, so funny. I recently, Dad and I haven't been eating taquitos recently, but Mom's always eating her taquitos. Yes. So she came up to Dad and I. She was like, "Who's been eating all my taquitos?" I ran out of all my taquitos.
I should probably message her then because I used up the last of this box.
Was it you?
No.
Oh, this box.
This box, yeah.
Okay. Not the last one. All right. But no, Zach sent me a video that was Ozzy Osbourne and Sharon and somebody walking down the hallway. And they go past Ozzy's room, and he comes out drunk as hell, drunk off his ass. And Sharon goes, "Hi, darling," and he goes, "Somebody's been drinking my beer out of my fridge." And Sharon's like, "I don't think so, darling." And she ends up saying, "Now, who would drink your beer out of your beer fridge? Who would do that?" And he's just like, And she's like, you're the beer thief."
So you showed that to Mom. Who's been eating my taquitos? You.
Who would do that?
Who indeed? Let's figure it out. That's funny. I love that. Yeah, I should probably send her a message before she gets upset.
I should probably buy her more tequila. I'm gonna have to go to the store at some point because I'm eating all their food.
Yeah,
and it's not gonna last very long. They didn't leave very much for me.
Yeah. Well, that's because they were going on vacation.
Yeah, they're going on vacation. So I'm like, I gotta eat up that cottage cheese because that's not gonna be good when they come back. But I think if I ate cottage cheese every day, it would last for 2 days. So, and they're gonna be gone for a week and a half. So that's a lot. I'm gonna have to feed myself some. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's sad. Mm-hmm. Well, if I have any leftovers, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Feed the child. That's how Jackie and Fallon live.
Yeah.
Jackie's always like, I have to feed the kid. I'll get a Snapchat. She's like, I gotta go home and make food for the kid. I'm like, she's 22.
Yeah.
But she also has ADHD and doesn't remember that food exists unless it's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do we want to just crack right into this?
First, on That Spooky, they're like, we have to cut so many burps out, and they're they do a segment that's timed, and they're like, okay, we got 8 minutes on the clock with a contingency for burps.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love it.
And I'm like, how could you burp so much when you're recording? How do you burp that much? But we've been burping a lot today.
Well, and it's one thing where if you're thinking about it, it's gonna happen more.
Yeah.
And then you listen to these how many times? While you're editing? So then you like are like repeating it over and over again. So you're like, there's a lot. But
true. Anyway, let's crack into it.
Yeah. Okay, so today I brought a topic, and it is our family canoe trips.
Woot woot.
Yes, we're gonna do specifically the Boundary Waters. I'm pretty sure we've mentioned it before, but we have like river trips, and then we've had our Boundary Water trips. We're gonna talk about the Boundary Waters today.
Our family has a great history of canoe trips. Yes. Our parents were canoeing before we were born. They were canoeing together. They bought their first canoe before we were born. And we've been canoeing ever since.
Correct. Even though sometimes Cydel has not wanted to. But we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that on a later day.
Okay, so in the beginning.
God.
So our dad and I went to Ely with a group that was based out of like our church, but not our actual church. Like it was like our denomination. There you go. Yes. So it was like in the whole state. They were like, "Hey, anyone from the Methodist Church want to like come learn how to lead a Boundary Waters trip?" And of course, Milton, being who he is, was like, "Yes, absolutely." So,
and we had done church trips.
Yeah.
Smaller church trips.
Yeah, like church the river trips. Before, yeah. We hadn't done anything that was like that big yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Dad and I got signed up. We went in the summer of 2018, I want to say. Yeah, it was the summer of 2018. We were gone for a week. So, kind of, I'll lead you into like the setting for this. So it was Dad, me, and then 5 other people. 2 of them were the like leaders who were teaching us. And basically the whole like point of it was to basically we were learning how to do a Boundary Waters trip while on a Boundary Waters trip. So like there were certain things like we'll talk about it later, but like work groups versus tent partners versus canoe partners, like that whole thing. Even though for this, your dad and I were together the whole time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like we had everything together except the work groups. The work groups, they did actually switch it up. So we had 2 different partners throughout the 4 days.
Which I do like. You should maybe go more into that concept. It's like, I think it's a cool concept that like we definitely didn't think about, you know, when we were doing our smaller trips.
Oh God, like, no, yeah.
Yeah, where you, to not spend the entire trip with one person, you have a partner for canoeing. You have a partner for sleeping with. You have a partner for doing chores. And they're all different.
Yeah, they're different people.
Yeah, they cannot be the same person. Yeah. I think that's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It definitely is because, as we'll talk about later, it's a relationship tester for sure. Going anywhere, especially when you are literally in the middle of nowhere when nobody can come and get you if something goes wrong. Like, you have to rely on the people that are with you. And if you're like, I fucking hate you because I've only seen your face for the last 48 hours, you're not very likely to be like, oh, yeah, I accept your help.
Yeah.
Probably like, get away from me. You smell bad.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I can be mad at my canoe partner for being lazy at this one point, you know, or splashing water on me. And then I can be mad at my sleeping partner for snoring too loud. And I can be mad at my work partner for like fucking off for a little bit or something. Not that any of these things happen.
No.
But if they were all the same person, you'd be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
But you know, you
want
can
to talk to him at the end.
Yeah, you can at least like compartmentalize and be like, you know, like this person was kind of shitty to me earlier, but this person hasn't done that to me.
Yeah.
So I can like separate myself from.
Well, and then you have that space to like kind of like come back down from it.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, you just made me chop all of the wood. But
yeah,
you are still a decent person and I know you have blisters, like, or whatever, like, you can think about it instead of being like, you're just complaining, you're just lazy, like, you're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure.
We're just, yeah. Mm-hmm. Our Midwest is showing today. Okay. It was a 4-day trip that we did. So it was 3 nights, 4 days, which is the length that we've had for every one of our trips since. And this one was actually, like, really cool. Like, we learned how to tie a bear bag, like, getting it up high enough in a tree and on a strong enough branch that a black bear can't come and get it. We took down our campsite after the first night and then went further in because I think we camped on, like, Lake 2. So there's, like, a series of numbered lakes and the rest of them have, like, names. But we went in on Lake 1, then went to Lake 2, and then the final day we were on Lake 3. And this campsite was my absolute favorite. It was gorgeous. So the first night we were kind of like, there was like a rocky beach. It wasn't great. There aren't any true sand beaches except for the, like, man-made landings to, like, get you in and out of the boundary waters themselves. But there was this, like, rock beach. You had to, like, pull your canoe up next to it because there wasn't, like, it was a rock and then there was, like, a drop. It wasn't crazy. Like, it was, like, to maybe your knees, but it's not fun to get out in that length of water. That depth, of water. Length. Me. But
What was the width of the water?
really fucking wide. So that was the first one was that weird landing. The second one actually had there was grass. Like, there was a nice incline. And then the actual campsite itself was on the top of a, like, really short bluff. So there was this, like, zigzag trail. So you would go up the one side and you were walking up this, like, thinnish path. And then you would go up, like, the opposite way. And you were still on a thinnish path. So it was kind of terrifying to carry a canoe up. But, like, once you were up there, like, views were phenomenal. We were actually right on the edge of the '08 forest fire. So when we looked across, you could see some spots that were, like, you could just see forever. And it was, granted, not very pretty. But, like, then you turn to the other side and, like, lush green. Like, this forest has been here forever. And it was such a good spot. And on our second night there, we actually got to see some turtles coming to lay their eggs. So these turtles did that climb that we did, like, by themselves. There was, like, 20 of them. We had to go get our flashlights from our camp, like, from our tents that we set up, because, like, they were everywhere at this site. And we were like, I don't want to step on a turtle. Because usually you can just go by, like, light, like, of the night as it's slowly, like, the sun is slowly setting. But when you're, like, you know, worried about stepping on something alive, you kind of want to have better eyes. So we had to, like, it was just so, it was crazy. Like, I truly have never seen anything like it. I felt like I was in, like, a nature documentary. But yeah,
you got to see them dig their hole.
Yeah, they go backwards. They use their butts as shovels. It's super cute. Yeah. So that was, like, such a great way to end that whole, like, experience. But along with these, like, great, cool, like, learning moments, we also had some, like, moments where we were like, oh, okay. So before we even went out, like, Dad and I, we went to the bear museum that they have in Ely.
The North American Bear Center.
Correct. I don't remember the acronyms or anything for it, so thank you for letting me know. But Dad had brought, like, a whole, like, bear kit, like, anti-bear stuff. So there's, like, a bear bell that you can put on your bag so that, like, you are making noise while you're walking, even if you're not making noise, so that you're letting bears know, like, hi, I'm here. But he'd also gotten this bear spray because he was like, oh, yeah, like, we're going to need it. Turns out black bears are really fucking lazy. Like, unless you are actively, like, holding their cub, they are not going to come towards you to attack you. But the black bears around the Boundary Waters have gotten a little bit friendly with people.
They're a little bit, habituated to people.
Yeah, because they see them a lot more. So we learned certain things, like don't throw a rock at them. Like, don't, like, lob a rock at them. Because they might think you're throwing food at them. And then they're going to come closer. Because sometimes people feed them. And then, like, we learned that, like, you shouldn't put your bear bag in your canoe and anchor it out, like, away from the shoreline, because bears can swim. So that's a really bad choice. Some people are like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Like, that's a good way to lose all of your food. So, like, we learned certain things like that. But the most memorable story time that I got out of that first experience, which was, it was terrifying to hear this. Our leaders were trying to tell us about safety. Safety's super important when you're out in the Boundary Waters because there's no, like, EMS. There's no way for emergency services to get to you.
Yep.
If anything happens, you need to get yourself out of the Boundary Waters, like, canoe area. Like, you have to get yourself out of the wilderness to somewhere where they can access. Because there are certain lakes that are accessible by motor, but most of them are, like, shut down. They can't even get, like, you can't bring a motorboat even close to it.
Yeah.
You can't land, like, a seaplane on it.
Boundary Waters canoe area.
Yes. Yes. It is for canoeing and kayaking and, like, hiking and stuff. Like, you are off the grid by all intents and purposes, except for the fact that there's great reception in the Boundary Waters.
Oddly great reception.
Right? Yeah, like every time that we've brought out a phone, you're like, oh my god, I have 5 bars of 5G. What is happening right now? I'm in the middle of nowhere. I do have a story for that one later. But this horror story was, again, related to safety, but talking about how you need to have your life jackets on if you're in the water or near the water, even if you are an experienced swimmer. And these sweet, lovely older people, they're both retired, told us this story about how their daughter went on a Boundary Waters trip and her canoe partner had a seizure and fell out and drowned. And they had to dig him out of the water and carry him back dead.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And I was like, thank you so much for telling me that.
Yeah.
Also, I will not be sleeping tonight. Like, I just crickets. I was like,
yeah,
that is horrifying.
Yeah.
And the kid who had a seizure, like, he was a really experienced swimmer, so he had his life jacket off. But, you know, you never know when a medical emergency is going to happen.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little terrifying PSA, I guess. That, and you need to be careful with what you're doing lest you need stitches, because then you might have someone in your group with a fish hook trying to stitch you up who does not have any business doing stitches.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got a lot of danger warnings, but it was just such a good experience. Which, it's fair. Like, we had to know, like, there are bad things that can happen. There's bad things that can happen anywhere. It was just, the story times were wild out there.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one else around us. I could die right now. Now I'm going to fast forward to the next year. We took our first family canoe trip.
Yes.
Out to the Boundary Waters. It was 2019. I had just gotten back from study abroad, and I was in a very new relationship. And I invited him to come with us. And Cydel was in a situationship
Yes. It was also after I went.
Yes, you also went study abroad.
Yeah, abroad. Yeah. And honestly, by the time we went on the canoe trip, me and this man were already, like, not in a relationship anymore. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I was like, but still come with anyway, whatever.
It's one of those things where, like, it does cost money. So, like, you've already put down the money. You might as well just go. Yeah, my favorite part about him coming, though, that, like, guy you were in a situationship with, we're not even going to worry about names, because he brought his red Mustang convertible
Yep.
to the Boundary Waters
Yep.
to leave it at a parking lot
Yeah.
for 4 days.
Yeah.
And when we were driving up, it started raining, and this bitch ass had his top down.
Yeah.
So he had to call and tell us he was pulling over because it was raining and he was getting wet.
Yeah.
He rode by himself.
Yes.
Did not need to go by himself.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, we were all glad that he was by himself.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, it seemed like he had this plan from the beginning. There was a reason why he brought the car.
Yeah. Yeah. But this was kind of a thing where, our parents were like, oh, yeah, it's definitely a relationship test going out on the, like, leaving society for 4 days. So we had, like, a really fun beginning.
Yeah.
We had our, like, super long car ride, which, meh. But we went to the Wolf Museum.
Nope.
What do we do?
We went to the Bear Center again.
Again?
Yes.
I thought we did bears, like, this last time.
No. We did. We actually did both this last time.
Oh, okay.
But everybody's very dead set on the bears because they're like, oh, it's the most relevant. We need to know about bears. Yeah. So we had, like, a vote, and everybody was like, bears.
Yeah.
And I was like, but the international wolves are there. I was like, this is like, going to the International Wolf Center is like a pilgrimage for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, we're not going to go to the International Wolf Center.
This child.
I was like, I was upset, but the Bear Center is just as cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to see a bear eating a watermelon in the wild.
Yeah.
Unless it's in your garbage can. But you really don't want them that close. So, yeah. But we went to the museum. That was all, like, fun. And the location...
They do have ambassador bears.
Yes.
There. And they have a viewing area where they'll do shows, and then they won't do,
it's enrichment.
Like, they'll do enrichment, and they'll have somebody on your side of the glass tell you about bears. Like, it's not like they're not doing circus tricks or anything.
No.
Like they're having like their enrichment time while we are having enrichment time about bears.
Well, and what makes an ambassador bear is that, like, I want to say... I don't remember what their numbers were, but I think it's like 80% of the ambassador bears were bears that were kept in captivity. Like, they were someone's pet.
Yeah.
And then the other 20% were, like, cubs that were abandoned that couldn't be rehabilitated back out. Like, they just weren't, like, they just couldn't make it back from their, like, rehab area that they had. They just became too used to not having to work for... anything. They all had, like, some sort of connection to people, and like I know, like, the story, one of the bears, he was from Wisconsin, where you can legally own a bear. Yes. Fun fact.
Yeah. And so he was owned by someone and then abandoned, and he became a nuisance bear.
Yeah.
Which is a bear that is just around people and, creating a dangerous situation for both the bear and the people. Yeah. To have a bear just, like, wandering around a city, like, and relying on people for food. So instead of just killing the bear, which unfortunately happens with most cases of nuisance animals, which it's never the animal's fault. It's always people's fault.
Correct. Yes.
And also, I think a big difference between the animals that are killed and the animals that are captured, for lack of a better term. I don't know what a better term would be, but
works for me.
But the difference is whether someone is killed or not. If once an animal has killed someone, even though it's always the person's fault, the animal is killed. The animal is put down. But so he probably was never in like a violent situation with people, but he was just
He's too familiar. Yeah.
Too familiar with the people. He was probably getting into garbage cans and things like that. So they captured him, and then he was eventually brought to the North America Bear Center. So that's kind of how the bears end up there.
Yeah. They also do not breed their bears.
Yes.
They, like, all of them are, I guess, when they're there, that's not their point. Like, they aren't meant to be here trying to breed new bears because they're already doing that in the wild.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like an endangered species where they're trying to like amp it up. They're like, these bears they're here to live, and now they've become ambassadors for education.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's both of the centers in Ely are exclusively for education. They don't do any like... Yeah, they don't do any breeding. Yeah.
Which also makes it it's an interesting educational place. Anywho, so we went to the Bear Museum, and then by the time that we like were ready to set out and everything, I think everyone was pretty okay. Of course, our parents are always high strung when there's anything that's happening that requires any amount of planning. So like trying to get out on the river, like you can see, like I think the boys who were with us were like, oh, interesting. Like slowly, like I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do in this. But we found this gorgeous campsite that had a little island that was near it.
Yes. Oh, and it had its own like little cliff where the fire pit was.
Yeah.
It was a little rocky for the tents.
Correct. Yeah.
It was hard to get the tents staked down, but in a lot of other ways, it was gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That, and this one was also adjacent to the like fire line, which meant getting wood was super easy. Like we didn't even have to get into boats. Like, we just could walk, like, probably a quarter of a mile down the shoreline. And there were down trees that were dry. So that was really nice. This was the first time that we got to see our mom's packing habits for Boundary Water. Mind you, Christine is not a light packer.
No.
Never has been. But when you have to portage, you really realize just how much stuff you've brought.
Yeah.
So by the time we got to where we were going, she was already kind of cranky. Because she was carrying a lot of stuff, which was entirely her own doing, but...
Yeah.
So we had, like, moments where, like, you know, you're upset, but then, you know, you're just vibing. We got to swim out to the tiny little island.
Yep.
And we went on a beautiful hike. Where we went out.
We went to Horseshoe Lake.
Yeah, we went out to Horseshoe Lake. Got to see moose poop for the first time. So that was new for me. But on our way back from Horseshoe Lake, something happened. My ex at the time and I were canoe partners. Because Cydel and I were sharing a tent. And then Cydel and her situationship were sharing a canoe.
Yes.
So our parents ended up being both canoe and tent partners.
True. Yeah.
Which was kind of against the rules that we were making, but
yeah.
Nah.
But yeah, it was oh well.
Yeah.
You know, like what what else would we have done? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like, the only other option would be, like, there's no other option. You know, it would have to be super weird.
Yeah, it would have been awkward.
Super,
yeah.
super weird. It would be super weird. Like, because we had to have a male-female pairing at one point. Which would have meant, like, either one of us would have had to sleep with our dad, or our mom would have had to sleep with one of the boys. Like, it was just very awkward. It would be very awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is, you know, this way it just works.
Yeah. Well, in that way, everyone was, like, more comfortable. Mind you, I think, like, the boys had just met, but, like, they were fine together. Like, they didn't have any issues that I know of.
They both were watching TV on their phones.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, that's when we learned that the reception is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because they were like,
I can watch Netflix.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, you downloaded episodes? They're like, no, I have great reception. I can stream it faster than I've ever streamed it before.
Yeah. Oh, I was partnered with Dad for chores.
Yeah, and I was with your situationship.
How was that?
Actually, it wasn't too bad. I think it was mostly because he took direction pretty well. Like, he was a little submissive. A little bit of a pushover.
Yeah, true.
Which helps.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. Especially with, like, our family and canoeing.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a hard time not...
The year after that, I dated someone who was like, oh, I want to steer the boat.
Oof,
and so we fucking fought.
Yeah. Well, the guy that I was with wanted to be the one steering, which is how, when we were coming back from Horseshoe Lake, we ended up, like, completely on, like, the wrong side of the lake. He was not listening to me.
Yeah.
While I'm trying to be like, you are going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like, you are steering us the wrong way. So, that was... Yeah. We ended up dating for a long time after that, though.
Yes.
So, that wasn't enough for him, I guess.
Yeah.
For his sign.
My canoe partner... he told me that he had never been canoeing before, but I forgot that fact. So then by the end of the canoe trip, I was like, have you ever even canoed before? And he's like, no. And I told you this. And I was like, oh, I should have been probably helping you more.
Yeah.
But, like, because he was, like, not being a very, he wasn't doing it very efficiently. You know, fighting the water a lot of the time, you know.
Yeah.
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 So.
Well, let's go back to the, like, work partners.
Yes.
So, our mom was with my ex.
Yes.
And that boy was obsessed with fire and sharp objects.
Yeah.
Which means that none of the work chores, except for when you have water duty, were safe. So, one good thing is that the fire was always going. Like, he was on top of that. But one bad thing was that when he was trying to chop wood, he would put his foot right next to where he was trying to chop.
Yeah.
Regardless of how many times we explained, I am not giving you stitches. I don't have fishing line. I didn't come here to fish.
Yeah.
I am also not looking forward to having to carry you out of here when we have to cut off your leg. So please, for the love of God, did not listen. That boy could not take direction.
There was a moment, like, on, like, the last day or something. Well, I don't think it was the last day, but I don't know. But when, like, the boys just had, like, I don't know, some aggression to get out or something.
Yeah.
Where they just were like, oh, we're going to go chop wood for a while. Like, they just chop wood for, like, forever.
Yeah, and then they came back. Well, they did bring it back.
Yes.
And we left a gorgeous pile for the next people who came to that campsite. Like, have at it.
Yeah.
This is yours. But I really enjoyed that campsite. And it was kind of like in a back corner, so we didn't really have that many people around, like, coming past us or anything. It was like a dead end. Once you see that there's a canoe already at that one campsite, you're not going to go over there to make sure.
Yeah.
So, but by the end of it, when we got off the water, Cydel's situationship said, "You will never see me again."
Yeah.
And rode off into the sunset.
He drove to Minneapolis.
Correct. Which honestly was a good riddance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't.
He was very toxic.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
He liked the drama.
And at that point in my life, actually, I had two men in my life who were both that same way. Both very toxic for me. And they both ended up going, "Fuck you, you're the worst. I'm leaving." And I went, okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever you think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that was our second one, which I'm surprised we even went on another one after all of that drama, but it really wasn't us. Like,
Yeah. We had fun.
we looked at our unit and we were like, we're good.
The fact of the matter is, boys, they have come and gone from our canoe trips. This is not new. This is not new to us. And it has never stopped us from canoeing in the past.
No.
Like,
I actually had...
there are so many people that have been
I have brought
canoeing with you.
every single one
Not for
of
me.
my, like, relationship partners on a canoe trip.
Yeah?
Every single one. Yeah. And the other two didn't last very long before peaced
Yeah.
after that, but for some reason. That one hung around, but...
Zach hasn't made it on a Boundary Waters trip yet, and he won't make it this year either.
Yeah.
Because he had an injury this year.
Yeah.
We might have talked about it, but he broke his pinky knuckle.
He punched a wall.
He broke his pinky knuckle, and...
Can you explain that? People are gonna think he's being a, like, abusive asshole.
Okay, he was at the gym, and he was punching a speed bag that was close to the concrete wall, and he was not punching it for speed. He was punching it hard. So he was being a dumbass, and he missed and punched the wall. And then his knuckle spun, like, outward.
Yeah, it was not where we were supposed to be.
Yeah.
But when Cydel first told me that story, she led with, he punched a wall. Full stop.
Yeah.
No further explanation. And I was thinking, oh my God, like in his apartment? Like, he just got pissed or something and just took it out on the wall? And then she was like, yeah, he was at the gym. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, ugh. So now, whenever it comes up again, I like to lead with
He punched the wall.
how you told me, because I feel like everyone should have that experience.
Okay, whatever. So we were like, yeah, you should just heal this year. You shouldn't. It's like, it's a lot of
Hand
exercise.
Yeah, like literally everything that you do, you need to use your hands.
Yeah, so it was like, yeah, you heal. You can go next year. So he hasn't made it on like a big trip with us before, but maybe he said he's gone on one before with us. He's gone on a canoe trip with us before.
You know what he did?
It could have been a day trip.
It was a day trip. I remember it.
I know we recently went down the Black River.
I think that was the one.
But I think we camped.
Oh.
I think we brought our cousins.
Correct, yes. It was just our cousins.
Was it just our cousins?
Just our cousins and our parents, yes.
Okay.
Because it was the four of us in one tent and those two in the other.
Yeah. That one was interesting too.
There's a lot of bugs at that one. I hated it.
But yeah. I also had to leave. And go to church.
Yeah. We had to find a campsite that was accessible via car.
Yes.
Park one of the cars there. And then we had to, go launch and do the normal stuff. I ended up sleeping in the car.
Oh, because of the bugs?
And it was super hot.
Oh.
So I couldn't sleep. I felt like I was going to throw up. So I went and I kept not turning on the car, but turning to accessory and then having the air blow for a little while, and then I'd turn it off again. And then I'd wait for 20 minutes and then do it again for a little bit so that it wasn't going to drain the whole battery. But I slept in the back seat of the car. Yeah. Because I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oof.
So that wasn't really fun for me, but I feel like everyone else had a decent time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks if you get sick when you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Then you don't have choices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
So our most recent trip, we are planning one for this summer, so knock on wood, hope that we do not have any exciting stories that are dangerous, but the most recent one, we do have a fun one. So the most recent one was when Alex finally joined our team. So she agreed to go with us, 2 months into our, very fresh relationship. And it was, was it July that we went?
I thought it was August.
It might have been. Yeah, it was, 6 months after that we actually went on the trip.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked me dead in the eye and said, I didn't think that we would be together this long.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you would have dumped me before this.
Yeah. So she said, oh, we'll go on a canoe trip.
Yeah.
Thinking full well that you guys were going to be broken up by then.
Yeah.
And she would never have to go.
Yeah. Yeah, she was like, I thought you would have, gotten bored of me by then. I was like, oh, no. Here you are. But, yeah, that was a fun way to start that anyway. That she was like, I didn't think I would be here. So the whole thing was brand new to her.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. She'd been canoeing before, but, the camping that her family does.
Yeah. You guys were engaged by that point.
Correct, yeah. We got engaged 5 months after we started dating, so lesbianism. We also brought someone else. We brought a girl who went to our church when we were growing up and everything, and she's super outdoorsy too.
Mm-hmm.
So her name is Hannah, and we all went, I think we went to all of the museums in Ely.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually, that
we
year.
hit all three.
Right? I think so. Yeah. Yeah, we made it to the Dorothy Moulter Museum.
Mm-hmm.
She's a woman who lived out in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness before, at the time that it was being bought up.
Yes,
and
to make the government land.
Yeah, yeah. And she was like, you cannot have my land.
No, so they had
she said, you can put your wilderness over there.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, she had a little island that she was using.
And she had, I think they had a little cabin for people that they that people would stay in. Yeah, and she fully lived out there and had also a little refreshment.
Yeah.
Shop where she made root beer.
Yeah, root beer, yeah.
And people would come from miles around to get some of Dorothy's root beer, and it was terrible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was an old-timey soda that was made with pounds and pounds of sugar.
Yeah.
And other questionable ingredients.
Yeah, and the paddle that was used to stir it was also used to paddle a canoe. And, it was just...
And it was
not clean.
Lake water.
Yeah, lake water. Yeah.
So,
they were using lake water to make it. Yeah.
Yeah. But she lived out there well past when the Boundary Waters was established.
Mm-hmm.
And
she became sort of part of their...
Yeah.
the
lore.
Yeah, the lore, and then, but she was she was working with the ranger.
Yeah, by the end
the
of
DNR
it, yeah.
or whatever. And
because she was a big sustainability person.
yeah. And she, you know, she was also like a checkpoint. Like she could, you know, like they could speak to each other on like walkie-talkies or whatever, radios or whatever they had. And you know, if people were like having an emergency, like she could go and help, you know, and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, and she could even let them know. I believe at that time, like seaplanes were still allowed for most of the time that she was still living there. So if someone was injured, they could go to Dorothy's place and could get help sent to them.
Yeah.
But her nephew made a very wonderful sign for her because she used to always say, "Kwitchurbeliakin." Whenever she would have anyone working with her, she would just quit your belly aching. Like, get it done. Work on it. Like, I told you what you need to do. You need to do it. So he made her a sign that says, "Quit your belly aching," but it's spelt, like, I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's smashed together.
Oh, yes,
one word.
It's one word, yep.
Starts with a K.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and none of the words have more than 2 letters that are actually in the spelled out word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a fun one. Like, I have a sticker on my laptop now that says Kwitchurbeliakin and everything.
Yeah.
That one was really neat. This was the year that we went to the Wolf Center.
Yes. We finally went to the International Wolf Center, and we got a membership right away.
Yeah.
Like, Dad was like, oh, yeah.
It made more sense to get the membership because of how many people we had going in.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then with the membership, you get, every time that you visit, you get to go for free. We only went once.
Yeah. It's like
he was like,
it's
still okay.
Yeah.
He said it's still worth it. But we also get a sticker that says we are a member, and then we also get like magazines.
Yeah.
And like a yearbook. You get like updates from the International Wolf Center.
Yeah.
And Dad was like, yeah, because Cydel really likes wolves, we're gonna do this for her. And every time they get something, Dad gives it to me.
Yeah.
Even though it's like addressed to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm always on YouTube watching their wolf pack updates.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they do actually tend to have like younger wolves.
So they get their wolves from a breeding program. They don't they are not from the wild. They're from a breeding program, and all of their wolves are fixed. They don't do any breeding there. What they will do is they'll get pups. Usually it's a pair of pups. I don't know if they've had 3 before, but
I think they usually just do 2.
But I think it's usually 2, and like, basically, they'll just cycle through, you know, the older wolves will eventually retire, and that happens because wolves will, if you are weak and not contributing to the pack, they will push you out of the pack. And then it becomes dangerous, like, if, you know, because there's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah.
If they just let that, like, pan out, eventually that wolf would become severely injured.
Yeah.
Because they would be like, go away, you know, and they would get into fights. So as soon as they notice that pushing out behavior, they have a retirement area.
Yeah.
A separate enclosure. So I think when we went there, there was a wolf. I believe he had just died. He had been in the retirement area for a little while. I think he lived to be pretty old.
Yeah. Yeah, especially for a wolf.
Yeah, and then they had 2 Arctics who were brothers, and they tend to want to have up to 1 female wolf. Because the female is the leader of the pack, contrary to some false beliefs that were made by a man observing a captive wolf pack made of non-family members. He was like, yes, there's the alpha wolf that is most dominant. And then he realized after publishing it, like soon after publishing it, that he was wrong. And he spent his entire life trying to take it back.
Yeah, trying to backpedal.
Yes, but people had already latched onto this alpha wolf idea. Mm-hmm. But actually, wolves, the way that their packs are structured, is they're a family unit. Mm-hmm. And they're led by parents. Mm-hmm. And mainly the mother, because she's the one who's taking care of the other wolves and making sure that they're being fed and things like that.
Yeah.
Like a mother does. So that is why, like, it's usually the female who is alpha. So they had the two Arctic brothers, and then they had a yearling female wolf who is, she's a Canadian gray wolf. And she is what they call the singleton. She didn't have any pack mates.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, that's unfortunate because there's a lot of like development that wolves get from playing as a pup.
Yeah. A lot
so
of
they were like, she didn't get to do this. You know, usually they wait a few years before getting more pups. Mm-hmm. But they were like, because she's a singleton, we're going to get a couple more pups this year. So they had 2 years in a row of pups.
And that's not normal.
No. Usually they'll wait like 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. Because that's just kind of, the cycle of the wolves. So we got to see the 2 pups who were, also just, they're gray wolves. They're not they have the gray wolf coloring. They're more lighter actually than the female. So we get to see pups. We get to do like a little pup thing, and we got to go out into this, like, not into their enclosure, but there was like a little fenced off like pup nursery.
Yeah, there was
because they don't put them in with the adult wolves right away, but they have them in an adjacent space. Yeah. So the adult wolves would come up and they would like puke for them.
Yeah. Yes. Do the things that wolves would normally do in the wild.
It sounds really terrible when you don't know anything about wolves, but like that's how they feed them, how they feed pups. They bring food in their stomachs, and then they
get used to like their smell and everything, and they can kind of view each other before the actual.
Yes. So we got to go. Yeah, we got to stand, like, around this little fenced-in area, and they were like, actually, it's really good for them to, like, because they have to be used to people being around them. So you're helping us, by being a bunch of people and, like, making people sounds, like, you're helping them get used to people. Yeah.
Yeah, and their job at the museum, which is, like...
Yeah.
Being ambassadors.
To be an ambassador wolf, yeah. Yep. So, so that's kind of what they've got going on there. They got a whole, and they have an exhibit area where you can learn about wolves to a museum area as well as like the viewing area with the windows and where they'll have events, and they'll have a person tell you about wolves.
Well, and that's kind of where it's different with the bear museum, is that, like, we got to go see the enclosures for all of the bears, because the bears had, like, scheduled times when they could be together and stuff.
Oh, yes. The bears are very solitary animals. Yeah. So there were, like, 4 bears there? Yeah. 4 bears. You just put them in an enclosure together. Things aren't going to go very well. Yeah. So they have they'll have 2 bears that are okay being in the open enclosure together. They'll have like 1 bear that doesn't like being with anybody. So and then they'll like rotate them. Yeah. But the wolves are a family because wolves live in packs. Yeah. And they want to be with other wolves. So they are together. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we maybe had an extra day. I feel like we had an extra day before we launched.
Yeah, we did go up extra early.
Yeah, we went early. Because we were like, let's bebop around Ely for a while. And we went to an art gallery. That's the word. So we got to see some local art too. We went to a steakhouse that had...
You guys went to a steakhouse.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't come with, but apparently.
That was after we got off, though. That you guys went to the steakhouse.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
But they had pool on them. One of those. So.
Nice. Okay, so anyway, the beginning part, like the before, was like the smoothest it had ever been. Because I truly think it was because there were no boys. I just gotta say that.
Yeah.
Just for me. Yeah. I feel like there was a lot less, like, people going, like, oh, I think it should be like this. I think it was more like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, XYZ, and everyone was like, got it. Like, that's what we were at. Like, even with, like, getting the stuff from the, like, outfitter that we used, like, so, like, collecting the tents and everything.
Oh, true,
felt so much smoother. Because it wasn't like, wait, what's our list? What's happening? It was like, you're getting this, you're getting this, you're getting this. And everyone was like, okay. Like, that's super. We got it. So, yeah, I wrote that down. I was like, yeah.
I feel like it was going to storm that night. Did it rain? I think it rained that night.
It did. The first night
so we were
out.
also like, we have a very short period of time because we had to set up the tents to make sure we had all the pieces and we knew how to do it. Yeah. And so we were fighting the wind as we were doing that. And and we were like, we have a very short period of time to get all the shit and get back. Yeah. So, yeah.
So then when we actually did make it out to the campsite, our setup and everything was like pretty decent. I know that site was kind of hard because there was like nowhere to put a tent.
Yeah, there was a huge rock spot. Most of it was rock.
Yeah. So trying to get 3 tents into that space was kind of a challenge in and of itself. We made it work.
Yeah. We got into like the trees a little bit and then we were able to
it was like really off to the side. Like if somebody came by, they probably would have been like, oh, nobody's here.
Yeah. We were way up at the top, our 2 tents. Yeah. And then our parents were like weirdly in like the middle. It was like, and like off to the side also. Yeah. But like, yeah, our 2 tents were really close together. And then theirs was like really far away.
Yeah. Yeah, but those are the only spots that were even relatively flat. And the tent that Alex and I ended up sharing was like very like it wasn't flat that we were on, but it wasn't like at least it was like the head was elevated. Yeah, it wasn't like we were like backwards and everything. But I just need to mention this because I need to embarrass my wife a little bit. When we got there, we went to the latrine, so like everyone knew where it was, and later she went, I have to go to the bathroom, and I was like, okay, you know where it is. She's like, I have to poop. So she made the trek up to the latrine. She shit in the woods.
Yeah.
And then when she made it back, she called her mother. And she told her mom that she shat in the woods. She was so excited about it. She's like, Mom, I did it. I was like, wow, novel. I like truly never would have been like, this is noteworthy. But that's kind of like the relationship that they have. And her mom was like, okay. And like, what's happening?
We have had people on other canoe trips refuse to poop. So
what we learned from this canoe trip was do not hike in a windstorm. Specifically, do not canoe to a location where you would like to hike in a windstorm.
Also check the weather.
Correct.
We were checking the weather. We were checking for temperature.
Yes.
Because we could, because we had good signal, but we were not looking at the radar wind speed.
We weren't looking at like anything we should have been. So it was like a nice day
Yes.
to go hiking.
very
The
sunny.
hike itself was very beautiful. I
Yes.
did enjoy it. It was just the going back part.
Yeah.
So the scene for that one is that we had 3 different canoes.
Yep.
We had only brought our emergency bag and what
We have walkie-talkies. We have enough for every boat to have one.
they were all in the emergency bag. So we had like a little thing for food in one of the canoes because we had lunch while we were hiking.
Yeah.
Then we had our like first aid bag, which was in the canoe with me and Mom. And then we just went back. We all went, oh yeah, we'll be fine. It'll be good. When you are trying to battle the wind across a lake and there are crests coming towards you, the waves are crashing in front of you. Well, Cydel, can you tell us what you decided to do?
Well, I was the last person to make a decision. Honestly,
You waited for the rest of us to choose something?
yeah, honestly, I was just canoeing towards our campsite. Dad and Hannah, we didn't explain who our partners were.
Oh, correct.
I was partnered with Alex, and Jade was partnered with Mom. So, Dad was like, "This is futile," because Hannah is very small, and he is very big.
Yeah, he's large.
And she was at the front of the boat,
Which means the front end of his boat was up.
out of the water, and the water was just going, having a field day with their boat, like just pushing them back.
Yeah.
And they're both very strong canoers, but just against physics.
Yeah.
It was not working. So Dad was like, I'm going off to the side.
He tried to find where, like, the wind would be blocked. So he went to the side that, like, the wind was coming from instead of going towards. Yeah. They ended up making it back first, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then you guys turned off.
The opposite direction.
Why? I don't know.
Because we were being pushed sideways.
Oh.
So I
you
went,
just
why
with
fight it?
Okay. And Alex and I were now in the middle of the lake. I looked both ways and went, they're gone.
Yep.
There's no one here. And I went, I'm not very good with maps. I mean, I'm learning the maps, but like I'm still not very strong. I still need you guys to tell me where we're going. And I knew that I recognized the island that was ahead of us. And I was like, I know that we can get back to our campsite from that island. So I was like, we're just going to go forward. We're going to keep going. Because I don't know where else. We're going to get lost if we go anywhere else. So we're going to keep going. I was like, just keep paddling. And also, Alex is heavier than I am and was in the front.
Yeah.
So we had the opposite.
Advantage,
We had that advantage of she was down in the water and wasn't pushed as well.
Yeah.
So we were able to cut through the water. It was slow going, but we made it to that island. And when we made it to the island, we stopped. And like we just sat down on the island, and we just kind of sat there for a while. And then like I gave her a hug because I was like, she still talks about like,
I need to get.
That was such a big moment. She was like, "This is the first time that you hugged me."
Hold on.
You need to get Alex on the phone.
Well, she needs to get her butt over here.
Hello?
Babe, I need you to come over here.
Why?
Because I need you to join in the storytelling. We're missing your part of the story.
Fine, I'll be over in a second.
Yay! We found Alex. I demanded that she come here. Babe, Cydel is explaining your guys' like trip across the lake.
Yeah, I said we made it to the island, and I give you a hug.
That was the first time Cydel ever gave me a hug. I felt so good about myself.
So it's the first time I give you a hug.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then we sat there for a while. We just kind of like waited there.
We definitely thought that we were the one and only canoe that made it.
Yeah.
So Dad wasn't there before you guys.
No,
we
he
had
was.
not made it to the campsite.
He was at the campsite.
You made it to that
before us.
island. Okay, the island in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could see the campsite from where we were.
We were tired.
Yeah, we were tired too. Yeah, I was like, we just gotta like regather before we try to make it over there.
Yeah.
And honestly, the water was even worse on the other side of that island. There was like a couple islands that we were, there was our island, an island a little bit closer to the campsite that had its own campsite on it, and there were people there. And then our campsite was behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just kind of like watching the campsite, and eventually saw Dad standing on a rock at the campsite, with his red and yellow paddle to just,
he was like signaling.
That he's there. And I went, oh my gosh, they made it. And, it was my dad. And so then we started paddling over.
Hold on, pause.
Yeah.
The only time I fell in the water during that whole trip was when we got back in the canoe after being at that island. You remember that?
Yeah.
I was so upset.
You did really good otherwise.
I know, I was surprised. But I was very upset after I fell in the water. It was just serious.
And then Cydel's like, oh, that's my dad. And you're like, I'm wet.
I was just grumpy. I was over it all.
I think we all were by the end of that.
Yeah. And we tried to fight around like the left side of the other island in the tough water, but it just pushed us right back.
Yeah.
And we ended up making it to the other island, and the people there,
they had to push us back out because we just washed up.
We were washed up, and they were like, go around, the water is better on the other side. You'll never make it going that way.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being better though.
It was calmer.
It was
calmer. Because it was like, but we made a lot more progress.
Yeah.
Because it was a little, I don't know, an inlet, but water.
Yeah.
So, whatever you would call that. So it was fairly quiet. There was, somewhere where like there was a lot of like plant growth, somewhere where it's not the water is very calm.
Yeah.
So yeah, we made it back to the campsite that way. And then Dad was like, where's your mother and your sister? And I was like, I don't know. And we just kind of sat there. We were sitting at the campsite going,
are we ever going to see them again?
Yeah, are they okay?
I remember,
are they dead? Like I was very much like, I think I lost my mom and my sister today. I think they're dead.
Oh, I remember your dad being like, well, let's not think about it. Let's just do the chores.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, I'm not going back out in the water to get water like you can.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then eventually he went and just picked a direction and walked.
Yeah. He walked down through the trees, like along the shoreline-ish. And, yeah.
Yeah, we were up on like a raised area. So walking along the shoreline was like up like...
Well, yeah.
15
we were up,
feet up. Yeah. But, yeah. Mm-hmm. So he could see us, like, or at least see the lake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I honestly didn't even know he left the campsite until you guys got back. I really didn't. I didn't know he was gone.
I think I knew he left.
Were you, like, out of it or something, or?
I remember, like, because you wanted us just to start doing chores because... obviously,
to distract yourself, yeah.
Obviously, you yourself and your mother were possibly dead, so we were just doing chores to stay busy, I guess. But Yeah, I didn't know you left. I was, like, cutting wood or something, and all of a sudden all three of you were back.
So while you were cutting wood and going through
Yeah.
the
I don't
middle
even know
of the
what I was
lake,
doing.
you guys just
I was
went, like,
probably doing chores.
boom. That was insane to me, that you guys just went straight across.
I don't know
Yeah.
how we did it. I really don't. That part of it is definitely a blur. I think I spent the whole time of it on my knees so I could just, like, prepare for myself if we, like, flipped. I don't know how we didn't.
Yeah.
Because, oh my gosh, that was hell.
I think
It
my
was just
favorite...
perseverance.
Yeah, my favorite
That's
was,
all
like,
it was.
afterwards when we were all, like, back, you going... She just kept telling me to go. She just kept...
Yeah, Cydel was a fucking drill sergeant.
Yeah.
No, go to your left. No, go to your right. I'm just like okay.
Rowing.
Well, and I was just watching. I was watching a shoreline to our left, going, "We're making progress. We're making progress. Keep going. Keep going."
Like,
For the
cheerleader
longest
and drill
time, you would
sergeant.
say that we were getting closer. I was like, no, we're not. You fucking suck. No, we're not. And just, I was so mad at you sometimes during that. I was just like, stop fucking talking to me.
But you guys made it.
I was trying to be
Yeah.
a cheerleader. I'm not very good at it, but I'm not very good at being like a cheerleader or a coach.
It's okay, though, because
Woo, you can do it.
I'd be okay with being canoe partners with you again.
Okay.
Oh,
that's
that's nice.
As long as there's no fucking windstorm.
Yeah. We're gonna check the weather this time.
And have walkie-talkies on each canoe.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Also, we plan to take 2 canoes instead of all 3.
Yes, if we're going on like a little trip, we don't
Yeah.
need to take everyone's canoes.
Yeah, going on a day trip because we aren't carrying all of our shit.
No. Yeah. There was no real reason.
No need.
Yeah.
The hike when we got to the island was really nice.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Although when we had our little snack on that cliff, I definitely thought somebody was going to fall and die.
It was high up.
It was
really high up.
high. Mm-hmm. High.
That's why I sat on my butt like 4 feet away and then kept scooting. You know, when I wanted to
Yeah.
look, I was
Hannah
like,
hung her fucking legs over the edge.
You got to see super cool like moss and like plants. Oh my goodness. I forgot to say on our first canoe trip. Mm-hmm. The raspberries. The raspberries. We also found blueberries too. Wild blueberries. But there was, I mean, especially when we were exploring like Horseshoe Lake, I think.
yeah, there was a lot.
There was there
That
was, or
portage
there was like an
between-
island or something
Yeah.
where it was just raspberries. It was nothing but raspberries
Yeah.
on there. And like
Which was hell for the legs.
yeah.
But
But we as a group did the last thing that we were told to do when you're trying to not run into a bear, which is go into a berry patch and just start picking berries. And there was a campsite on this island, so there was a latrine, and it was through the berries. So we were on our way, to the latrine picking berries,
yeah.
and I loved it. But I was like, there could be a bear at any moment.
Yeah, no, you can run into a cub and you'd be like, well, fuck, at least the berries were good.
But
See,
anyway.
I don't feel the same. I don't.
I love raspberries. That's honestly one of my favorite parts about canoe trips. You know, it's kind of sad when we don't go during raspberry season.
Yeah.
And, like, I can see the plants, but there are no raspberries.
Yeah. That is hard for you.
Yep.
Okay, so Mom and I did the exact opposite of what we should have done, in hindsight. We went to the side that was getting the wind pushed at it. Because our canoe ended up getting turned that way.
Turned up. Sorry.
Get turn. Get turn.
Looking at it now, you and your mother should not have been canoe partners.
We were fine.
You are the same person. You are the same freaking person.
I don't see it. Anywho, so Mom is always in the front of my canoe. Myself, Cydel, and our father can't not be steering. It's just the thing. Yeah. So, luckily, our mom is super strong when she's in the front of the canoe because she has the biggest paddle that you can have, known to man. She has the biggest paddle, and she, like, if you tell her to go, she's gonna go. Like, she will keep going till you're like, stop. Too much. So at least we had that going for us, but we ended up on an island, or maybe it was like the outer side of like the lake. I have no idea. But we got out because we were getting pushed against the rocks. So we decided we were going to walk around this crescent shape to get to a side where there wasn't rocks for us to get pushed into because we couldn't get away from them. So we're walking, and mind you, I already explained there's no like sandy beaches along the side. This is like we're walking on rocks. Like we are walking rock to rock, trying not to fall while dragging a canoe that's being pulled into like the rocks and making tons of noise. And I was just so tired. I was so tired. I was so upset that we ended up in like the worst position and there was no way out of it. Like we, just by me going, let's just follow it, I fucked it over. Like royally, we were screwed. So we tried doing the same thing that you guys ended up doing, which was island hopping. So once we got around that, and I had a little cry session because I was like, what the fuck did I do? Because when I get stressed, I cry.
What?
Crazy, right?
Never seen it.
But then we were doing like the island hopping, and it took us a really long time. But we did the thing where you stay on the right side now, like you guys did after those people said go on the other side. We went that way. But the like where we ended up, we were looking down, we could see where the campsite was. And this whole time I'm checking the map whenever we stop at an island to make sure that I'm like I know where we're going. And we made it to this part where there was this crazy, it almost looked like a river. It had turned into rapids because of the wind. This like I want to say like 20-foot distance between like one island and then the next landmass. And I was like, I know that one that's across is the one that we're camped on. I know it. Like I can like based on the map, that is the one where our campsite should be. If we can follow that, we'll get to our campsite. However, the water is insane right now. And there's no way in hell we're getting through. And I'm not going back around to go the hard way. That's not happening. I was like, we are this close. Screw it. So we ended up, oh my God, I wrote perfectionism at its worst. I love it. For my, since I, cried because I was like, what the fuck, I can't do anything right. But thank God I can read a map because I did end up picking the right landmass. We found a nice little area that wasn't getting hit by the wind to, like, tie off the canoe. And then Mom and I, with the first aid kit, climbed up the side of the, like rock face that we were on. Because, we were on, like, an elevated, like, area. So we climbed up the side and then just started hiking through woods. We were staying close, like how Dad was doing coming towards us. We were staying close to the edge, trying to, like, watch. And I was like, we've got to be about, like, here. Like, we're really close. And then, all of a sudden, Dad pops up. I was like, I knew we were on the right spot. But, yeah, he was like, we're all back here. Everyone else is back. And we were like, oh, my God, thank God. And Mom was so emotional.
Oh my God, she cried so much when she got back. I was like, why are you crying? She's like, we almost died. Like, were you not there? And I was like, I was, but you're back, so.
Yeah. I think, like, I cried at the beginning because I was like, I saw the futility in it already. I was like, this is it. We're done. She waited till the end, like, until we were, like, in the clear, which was probably good, because if we were both blubbering at the beginning, we would not have made it anywhere.
Well, and I think we all had a moment where we went,
Fuck.
we're all gonna die out here. You know,
Yeah.
we all had a moment, or I was very worried that you guys were dead.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like the four of us,
Yeah.
had a lot of time
Where
to
you were just
sit
sitting
at the campsite and
Think.
Yeah.
and go, oh no, we're
Yeah.
never gonna see them again. And so we had like processed it by the time you guys made it,
Yeah.
and we just felt so relieved by the time that you guys came. That's all that we felt. And Mom was processing all of it
Yes.
Right
at
then and
that-
there,
Yeah.
right
at that
there.
point, yeah.
Because she had just finished. Before that point, she had to be logical.
Yeah.
She had to be the mom.
and survive.
She actually ended up hugging me and saying thank you because, like, I could read a map.
Yeah.
Honestly, I probably should have been a little bit more upset than I was. I know that sounds really bad, but the only thing I thought about was, wow, we just got engaged and we're not even going to get married. That's all I thought about. I was like, that really fucking sucks because that ring was expensive. But also, I feel like
The ring was still at home. You could have returned it, babe.
Yeah, you could
True.
have pawned it.
True. But I think, like, deep down, like, I feel like I knew that we were going to be okay, though. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't it didn't make sense in my head that we would die this way.
Well, the way that Cydel just said we'd already processed, it made me think that you guys were like, yeah, they're dead.
Well, okay. No, but we had already been we had already been stewing with they're gonna die.
I
it's
was
over.
not. I was thinking we just would not have a wedding.
Wow.
I don't know
Well,
why.
at least I was thinking about your death.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, I was sad, yeah. I don't know. I knew you guys were coming back. I just didn't know when
Yeah.
or how healthy.
I'll show up at your doorstep like 20 days later and be like, why the fuck did you leave me?
Waterlogged zombie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just knew we'd be cool, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, then after that, we had a really nice, relaxing day, like the day after that event.
Oh, yeah. I was not going back out if I didn't have to.
Oh, we all were like,
Yep.
not gonna get in the canoe today.
Yep.
That's not
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
So we all hung
did
out. It
some,
was really
like,
nice.
Light swimming. Hannah likes taking pictures. Took some pictures.
We played,
yeah.
what did we play?
Nickels.
Yeah. We played
Nickels.
Nickels behind one of the tents, but we played with the rocks.
With the rocks.
Yeah. That was really
And pine
fun. That
cones,
was,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think everybody took a nap that day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was a good day.
That was a good
Yeah.
day. But we were all like, fuck the wind.
I was dreading having to go home the next day because I was like,
Yeah.
I do not want to get on the water. We are leaving early as fuck in the morning. Like,
Yeah. We were trying to leave to miss the wind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are now checking the weather, the wind. And then the day we were leaving.
oh my God, that morning was. You remember, like, your dad was like yelling at your mom, and your mom was like yelling at your dad, but it's just the way they communicate.
Yes.
So,
And then she tripped over a rock.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yep.
Mom almost cut her foot open and
Like, broke a rib?
and broke her. Oh yeah,
was
she,
her
she
ribs,
hurt her rib.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
so
hurt
then
her
that
rib.
just made her even more cranky, and I was like,
Yeah.
I just want to go home. I don't want to be here no more.
Yeah,
God, that was a mess. I forgot about that part.
yeah.
Oof.
I did not.
Well, then when we finally did get in the water,
Oh, the fucking Boy Scouts.
well, not even that. I had a granola bar.
Oh my God.
God.
I had never been so close to breaking up with you before. I'm so serious. That pissed me off.
Hold on, I'm telling the story. I had a granola bar that I had put in my vest because I wanted to eat it later. We had it for part of our breakfast. And I was like, I'm going to want this later.
Mind you, we are canoeing in the moment. This story takes place while we are canoeing.
To try to get off the lake before the wind starts again.
Just to set the scene.
I reach into my life vest and I try to pull it out and I fucking drop it. I didn't just drop it in the boat, I dropped it in the fucking lake. But it's floating. It's floating there. And I'm like, I can reach it with my paddle. I can do it. And we just keep going. Like, we keep, like, going farther away from it. And I was like, fuck it. I start paddling in reverse. I'm like, I want that. Fuck it. It was the good one. It was the almond one, too. We only had the peanut butter ones left. I wanted the almond one. I was so upset.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't remember if you ended up getting it out of the water.
I did, yeah, and I ended up eating it.
Okay, but at some point during that whole fucking thing, your mom full ass turned herself around the canoe.
Mom was trying to give us all snacks in the water, in the middle of the water.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I love you both, but I'm gonna drown you. Like, we are going. We are going.
Yeah, no, Mom definitely could have done that without turning all the way around.
And you definitely could have gone without your granola bar.
I didn't want to. Okay, number one, I wanted my granola bar. Number two, I didn't want to litter because I would have felt like shit.
Mm-hmm. I did. I actually, at the beginning of our trip, which I didn't mention before, I had a similar situation where I had my map in my lap.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
A gust of wind came by and the map flew off into the water.
Okay, but map granola bar. Map granola bar.
Yeah,
like
true. I went, I need that map. I was like, my map!
Well, in this situation, I'm just like, do you guys not remember what happened? Like, is that gone? Like, do you not remember the windstorm and how we were all separated? Like, I was so upset. I was so upset.
Yes, but Mom's one and only priority is snacks.
Yeah. She gets so hangry.
And I think we skipped breakfast.
No, I don't think we skipped breakfast,
no,
but I think all of us were
She also had just almost cracked her ribs on a rock, though, so I'm pretty sure she didn't eat much for breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She was hurting.
Yeah. Which might be why she decided to turn all the way around, because she couldn't twist.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Now that
we're like,
that, yeah.
Fuck you!
Well, I was more upset with you than anyone.
No.
In a retrospect.
We're here,
Maybe
we're alive.
It does all make sense. Maybe her mother isn't insane. All right.
Yeah. Oh, and then I put down that Mom and I have an attitude.
You splashed me with your paddle.
I didn't mean to.
Okay, but hold on. You did. And I was like, hello. And you were like, sorry. And I was like, I know you're upset, but like, watch your attitude, sis. Like, I'm gonna,
I do remember that. That was bad.
Then you made me mad.
Oh.
You were mad, and then I got mad because you were mean to me.
But to add on top of that, we had some fucking Boy Scouts who were not being very scout-like, and were not leaving enough room.
They were rushing us.
They were literally rushing us so bad. Then they wouldn't go around us in the open spots.
At the portages.
Yeah, at the portages, they would sit, like, right at the mouth of the portage. Like, we would pull up and, like, park our canoes, pull them up a little bit, and then they would sit in the little, like, area right at the, like outside.
They're, like, little waiting pool.
At the mouth, yeah. They would wait right there and just sit.
They were watching us like a fucking movie, man.
Uh-huh.
I didn't get the vibe hard enough to be upset with them. I did see them watching us, though, but I was too focused on the mission of getting the fuck out of that lake, and I didn't realize that the Boy Scouts were an issue until your mom almost, like, made one cry when we were getting out of the lake.
Well, that's because I was already in a pissy mood, and I was like, these fucking Boy Scouts need to leave us the fuck alone. They need to go away. They can take a fucking break. Like, go sit out in the lake. They don't need to sit in the mouth of this opening. Like, they can literally just go sit, like, 50 more yards away, and I'd be fine. I'd be totally okay. They're, like, 20 feet behind our boat, just watching us. All in silence, too. I'm like,
I feel like the only two people that really bothered by them was you and your mom.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
But she was mostly bothered because I was bothered. So I was just ruining everyone else's day. Yeah. And then at the landing site was when you got really upset with Mom.
Me?
Yeah. When we were getting off. And there was that girl who decided she was going to sit where they wanted to launch their boat.
Oh, yeah. She, like, put her water bottle down or something. As we were coming in to get out of this horrid lake, some chick, like, came and put her water bottle down or something right where we were gonna, like, pull in. Mm-hmm. And your mom got livid. And then, because she was so upset about the water bottle, I'm just like, why are you so upset? Like, it does not matter. Like, I just want to go.
It does, though, because this bitch chose the middle of the fucking landing to set her water bottle. But, of course, that wasn't, like, the number one issue right at the moment.
I was just happy that we were no longer
on the water.
in the middle of the lake.
You guys were very, very, like...
We were
focused
super
on, like,
irritable.
courtesy and, like, manners. Like,
Yeah.
Your mom and her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just like, your portage manners are bad. Your landing manners are bad.
We obviously
Fix
had different
it.
priorities.
Yeah.
So, yeah, then afterwards was when you guys went to the steakhouse.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And Alex and I were, like, wandering around. Like, we normally, like, walk up and down in Ely. Like, there's, like, a nice little strip where they have, like, stores and stuff. Mm-hmm. So we were doing, like, our little, like, shopping day or whatever after we got showered and everything and felt like normal
And I
people.
had never been to Ely.
We went to a candy shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'd never been to Ely, so, like, you were taking me to all, like, the little shops and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And some of the outfitters, like, pierogies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then you guys went out for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenzie and I decided that we were gonna go eat somewhere else on, like, a little date.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't well.
We tried, like, 2 different restaurants. One of them had, like, a 40-minute wait.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I need to sleep. We can't wait for 40 minutes and then wait for our food for 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. So we decided to walk to another spot. And when we got there...
They just didn't have anything we wanted.
Yeah, it wasn't, like, interesting. Like, they used to have good food years past, but then it, like, changed ownership or something, and I was like, I don't want anything. So then we went and we got the van, and we went, we'll just go to Subway.
Yeah.
We pulled up at 8:01.
And they fucking closed at 8 o'clock. I was pissed. I was hungry. Oh, God.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was, like, literally just one after another, like, oh, no, you can't eat here. Like, oh, there's nothing to eat here. Like, oh, we're closed. And then...
So instead of going with this steakhouse, we had a fucking picnic in the apartment. And
it wasn't even, like, good picnic food.
It was cold. Like,
yeah, my wrap was, like, half frozen.
Yeah.
That we got from the deli counter at their, like, 1 IGA. Like,
it was really just really disappointing.
Yeah.
And it was probably the worst set we've ever been on.
Yeah. It was so really sweet. We went to, they had, like, music in one of their parks or something. Mm-hmm. That was super
good.
Nice.
Hannah went to a farmer's market.
Of course she did.
Yeah. There was one.
While we were there. Oh, I also want to say there's something very, very crucial that we are forgetting about that happens at the beginning of every canoe trip. In the Boundary Waters, there's a restaurant that we go to for breakfast.
Yes.
Oh my god, I almost forgot about that place.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that place.
What's it called?
I don't even know. They're only open for breakfast.
I think it starts with a B.
Probably, I don't know.
I just remember, like, we were up at, like, 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Because
you have to get up that early in order to
Yes.
get a seat.
Because we were getting breakfast, and then we were out.
Yeah.
It's
like,
the
we were
most
going.
popping breakfast place.
Uh-huh.
And they make good food with, like, nice big portions. And it's
Decent price.
Yeah, decent price. It is
Cash only.
Yeah, carb loading
Yes.
for the trip.
Mm-hmm. Their pancakes are the size of a large dinner plate.
Yep.
Like, just one.
I don't even.
It might
I
be
don't
bigger
remember
than
what
that.
I ordered.
I said a large dinner plate.
We've never ordered a pancake. I don't think so, unless you have.
I have, yeah.
You did?
You only get one, though. You can get either one or two. And people are like, oh yeah, I can get two. And they don't realize when you see these things carried out, it's like the size of, like,
a friggin' pizza.
Yeah. Like a frozen pizza.
Yes.
I don't remember what I got, but I know I definitely didn't eat all of that.
Yeah.
There was a couple who ate their pancake together.
Yeah.
And they did not finish it. They got, like, maybe halfway done.
Yeah.
Like, that is how massive these pancakes are.
Their pancakes, you can get it with wild rice and blueberries. And these blueberries are like the wild rice and everything. Like it's all like local. So good.
Yeah.
And I would never think to put rice in a pancake, but it is delicious.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really a big pancake person, but I mean, if I were somebody who really wanted to have a pancake, I would probably, eat it with them to have a couple bites. But I don't think anybody in our group has had a pancake when I've been with, because I think you did it on your first trip.
I feel like I had one the last one.
I don't know.
But I don't think we were sitting near each other.
You didn't share it with me if you did, which is kind of shitty.
That's really rude.
Sorry. We'll have to try it again this time.
Anything else?
That's the end of my very long list.
Woohoo!
Yay!
So that's just Boundary Waters.
We'll have another story, I'm sure. Thank you, babe, for coming.
You're welcome.
Joining us.
So, Wisconsin.
Beer, cheese.
Yeah.
Packers.
There are a few things you think of when you think of Wisconsin. And, actually, right now, Jade is drinking one of such things. It is Spotted Cow.
Correct.
It is a beer from Glarus Brewing Company. Glarus Brewing Company is only sold in Wisconsin. So it is Wisconsin right there.
Like, you will get fined if you try to take it outside of the state and sell it.
So let me tell you the history of the Glarus Brewing Company. This is taken directly from their website. I think they do a beautiful job of telling it. So I will be reading it verbatim.
Some.
I think we need to hear it from their mouths. Glarus Brewing Company wasted no time establishing itself as a world-class operation. In 1992, Daniel Carey passed the Diploma Masters Brewers exam at the Institute of Brewing, London. Deb Carey raised the capital for the startup as a gift to her husband, establishing herself as the first woman to found and operate a brewery in the United States.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Dan and Deb Carey converted an abandoned warehouse into Glarus Brewing Company's original Riverside Brewery. The first barrels rolled out in November of 1993, the fastest microbrewery startup ever.
Wow.
Daniel and Deb successfully combined their business management and brewing professionalism with their philosophy based on individuality, cooperation, and use of 100% natural ingredients to produce world-class handcrafted beers. Here we have the founding of the Riverside location. In 1993, the Glarus Riverside location was founded. Dan and Deb Carey converted an abandoned warehouse into Glarus Brew Company's original location, known today as a Riverside Brewery. Deb's expertise to market the beer and Dan's craftsmanship to produce world-class beer made it impossible to keep up with the brewery's demands. Today, the Riverside Brewery is still used to make all of our specialty, thumbprint, and R&D series beers. And we'll talk more about those later. In 1997, Spotted Cow reshapes the craft beer industry. So now we have Spotted Cow enters the chat.
Whilst it enters my belly.
After winning a significant beer competition in England for their Belgian Red, Dan and Deb decide to clear their minds and drive up north of London while enjoying the English countryside. Deb thought to herself how much of a tourist she sounded like, enjoying all the sheep everywhere, and thought to herself, I bet when people visit Wisconsin, they must have the same feeling about the cows. After returning home, Deb insisted they start right away on the production of Spotted Cow, their signature beer that changed the landscape of the craft beer industry. In 2006, the Hilltop Brewery was completed. Our Riverside Brewery was running at full capacity and had no more room or land to expand on. In order to keep up with the demands of the state, Dan and Deb had to find a way to produce more beer for their friends in Wisconsin. The tenacious couple came up with plans to create Dan's dream brewery, the Hilltop Brewery. Our picturesque brewery is a destination for people coming from all over the world to visit and enjoy Wisconsin's favorite brews. Today, the New Glarus Brewery produces roughly 236,000 barrels of beer and is the 12th in the total sales volume for craft beer in the country.
Holy crap. Just in the state of Wisconsin.
And just in the state of, and they're only serving beer to the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So now let's get into the beers that they offer.
We have 4 right here.
So I've brought all of the beers that I have. We've got a Pilsner. We've got a Spotted Cow. We've got a Totally Naked and a Raspberry Tart. First, let's go through the year-round beers. These beers are offered year-round. And they are always available. Spotted Cow is a farmhouse ale. It is brewed with the tradition of farm cask conditioned ale. This was a tradition that was popular before Prohibition. It uses the finest American malts, and it has a nod to our farmers. It is cloudy because of yeast that is left in to enhance the fullness, and it is fun, fruity, and satisfying.
That's what the bottle says.
Yes, you know you're in Wisconsin when you see the Spotted Cow.
And then it's signed only in Wisconsin, Daniel and Deborah Carey.
Aw, that's sweet.
That's sweet.
So, next we have the Two Women beer.
Which I love. That's one of my favorites.
I feel like I haven't had that one yet.
Really? Oh, that's one of my
need to have it.
favorites.
Okay.
I am a
Two
New
Women.
Glarus girly.
Yeah. This is directly from their website as well. Two Women is a country lager. I love the story behind Two Women. That's why I'm reading it verbatim. 4,000 years before Christ, Sumerian women created the divine drink of beer. Viking women brewed in Norse society. European alewives were so successful as cottage brewers, they were taxed. Artisanal women lost their domination of the daily ritual of brewing during the Industrial Revolution. Today's brewing trade is controlled by men. The collaboration of 2 craft companies led by women, New Glarus Brewing and Weyermann Malting, is unique. You hold the result, Two Women, a classic country lager brewed with Weyermann's floor-malted Bohemian malt and Hallertau Mittelfrüh hops. A tempting and graceful classic lager found only in Wisconsin.
I love that.
Yeah.
Two Women is really good.
Yeah. I just love the
story.
I mean, honestly, though, if you don't know, a witch with a conical hat and
The cauldron.
a cauldron, yes, that is direct reference to women who were brewing beer. Women who brewed beer were independent.
Yeah, they didn't need a man for financial stability.
Yeah. And they had a huge, they had control over their community. You know, people trusted these women, and they had a lot of capital from this. So the men were like, these are witches. They're witches.
Yeah.
You know, they were just businesswomen, but they were like, they're witches. To condemn them and stop them from making beer. So that is where beer's history comes from. And that's certainly been lost because of the persecution of women. And it's wonderful to see that taken back.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
Next we have Moon Man. It is a no-coast pale ale. It's a session beer with bright, bold blend of 5 hops that flirt with the smooth, malty backside. It is brewed to be enjoyed today. It says Moon Man is very cool on the bottle. Yeah, it is. Moon Man is also one that I like.
Yeah.
I like that it's got a little dog print. It's like a werewolf print on the front.
Yeah. I think all of their packaging is
they all
wonderful.
have very cool, imagery. Yeah. Now we have the Pilsner, which we have today here with us. It is a blur of German and Czech style. It starts with an heirloom Pilsner malted barley. And then there's added a double decoction mash. It has a Bavarian Royal Diamant Mittelfrüh, again, Saphir, Hallertau Blanc hops. It has a 35 IBU.
Did you look that up?
Yes.
What does IBU mean?
Oh, what does IBU mean? International Bitterness Unit.
Oh, okay.
So it's got some bite to it.
I thought it was very good.
Yeah. I mean, it is a Pilsner that lives up to its name. And they definitely this brewing company takes heritage. And they will bring it back, things that have been lost, they'll bring back. They'll make beautiful nods to the history of brewing in everything that they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there is the Belgian Red. Is a Wisconsin fruit ale. It is a marriage of wine and beer. It's made with whole Montmorency cherries, Wisconsin farmed wheat, Belgian roasted barley, and it's lagered in oak tanks with Hallertau hops. And it's aged for 1 year. So this is sort of a cherry wine beer, which I should try it at some point. I have not. They have so many options on here that I need to try all of them, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these are also not cheap beers. These are top shelf beers.
Oh, yeah.
Next, we have the Raspberry Tart, which I am drinking right now. And it is a Wisconsin fruit ale. It's made with berries from Oregon. They are fermented in oak fats. And it is made with Wisconsin wheat and Hallertau hops. Next, we have their seasonal beers. These beers come around once a year. We have the Zwickel beer. It's from the Bavarian tradition of Zwickel beer, shared with friends directly from lager tanks. These come straight from the tank, unfiltered. And the third fermentation of this beer actually happens within the bottle. And that maintains the freshness. So this is a beer. The Zwickel tradition. Brewers would take their closest friends down to their beer cellars, whatever, and they would give these special friends beer straight from the tank. And so that's where this tradition comes from, and it's very you're very in the inner circle sort of.
Well, and like they said, it's not filtered. It's straight.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a smooth, full-bodied beer, and it is slightly cloudy.
Well, like the Spotted Cow, I'm looking at it right now. The Spotted Cow is cloudier than
Yes.
the totally naked and everything because of like the yeast and
Yes.
part of its process.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. Then we have the Kid Kolsch. It's a Kolsch beer. It has floral spalt hops, hand chosen by Dan Carey. It has a crisp bitterness with a clean finish. Double dicotion mash of German and Czech barley and wheat. A golden Beretti center with fruity notes. And it is naturally carbonated.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah. That beer sounds down your alley.
It
You
does.
should try it.
Yeah.
But maybe first, I guess, because carbonated doesn't sit well with you.
If I've already
At
had
the
other
end
things,
of
yeah.
at the end of a
I have
drinking.
to start with carbonated.
At the end of the night, yeah.
How do you know that?
Yeah, because I was there on your
21st.
21st birthday.
Yeah, don't finish the night with a hard soda,
Yeah.
is what I learned.
Now we have Dancing Man Wheat. Is a Hefeweizen. It is a true Hefeweizen. It is bottle fermented and hazy, with a rich, spicy clove and cinnamon smelling notes, with sweet fruit and wheat tasting notes. Yeah. Sounds
Those
very
are,
interesting.
yeah.
Now we have Totally Naked, which we have here with us today. It is a Wisconsin lager. It's a 2-row barley malt with mellow and smooth body. It is made with imported noble hop varieties from Germany and the Czech Republic. It has a delicate golden hue and is made with natural ingredients. Now we have the specialty beers. These are only offered at the brewery
Oh.
in limited quantities. And in this, I have one beer to share with you that is vintage 23. Makes sense. It is the specialty beer for 2023. Probably. Something
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
assuming.
It is an American sour ale. Honors the world traditions brewed with aged whole cone hops and raw wheat in our cool ship vat, then aged in oak tanks and finally bottle conditioned. And it's kind of got this this funky little bottle that it's in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it almost looks like a kombucha bottle.
Yeah, it's more like the old-timey style.
Yeah, it's stout. Doesn't have the long neck. Now we have the thumbprint beers. These are limited batch beers that are never guaranteed to come back.
Oh, shit. Okay. So if you see it, you like it, you want it, you got it, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, I am almost done with my second beer.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a little silly and Ariana's coming out.
We've got I'm glad that we chose to just record this 1 second.
Yeah, that was probably a good call. Yep.
We've got the apple ale made with Wisconsin apples. It has brown ale based with Wisconsin barley and Door County apples.
Ooh.
And it is copper in color. We have the Imperial Radler.
I think that one I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should scoop it up.
Well, tell me what it is first before I get
It
it.
is a grapefruit tropic blast.
I don't
with
like grapefruits.
Pilsner malt.
I'll let somebody else have it.
It is made with Wisconsin, Yakima, and New Zealand experimental hops.
Hello? Okay.
And it has an 8.5% ABV.
Oh, okay. Which is?
Alcohol by volume.
Oh. It's a strong boy.
Yes.
Well, strong for a beer.
Next, we have the Milk Chocolate Stout. It has rich fudgy notes layered with English dark crystal malt, smothered with Wisconsin milk. Yeah.
Is there actual milk in this beer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's cloudy. For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's probably opaque.
Yeah. It would be... Yeah, it's probably... I mean, it sounds very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very different.
I would like a flight that includes that, please.
Yeah.
I would enjoy very much.
I, at Oktoberfest, had a... this is not chocolate, but... but I had like a stag beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. By New Glarus. I did not find that on their website.
Oh.
So I don't know if it's limited or like special for
They should do like
Oktoberfest. I don't know if it's like one. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
they
one of their
should do like
Oktoberfest beers or-
what is that called? Oh my god, Ben and Jerry's, where they have their flavor graveyard.
Oh,
They should do that with their specialty beers.
yeah.
That like their thumbprint beers or whatever this one is. What are these
True.
ones?
Yes,
Thumbprints. They should do that because I would visit.
Yeah.
100% I would visit.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the top of their thing, they have a thumbprint on their Wisconsin.
Yes.
It's part of their logo. Mm-hmm. Anywho,
Yeah.
continue.
And when you see the thumbprint, I think it usually is behind the bigger logo. They'll have a thumbprint. That's how you know that it is a thumbprint beer and
Okay.
it is limited edition. And you can find New Glarus beers at, I believe, every bar in Wisconsin.
Uh-huh.
And then also at convenience stores like Walgreens, Quick Trip,
Yeah.
and your liquor stores as well.
Yeah. And most local gas stations in Wisconsin.
Yep. So that's where you will find New Glarus. So,
If you're in Wisconsin, throw a stone. Wherever it hits, there's probably a New Glarus there.
yeah.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, and keep your eyes out. Yeah.
Look for that
Oh,
thumbprint.
man. Yeah, look for that thumbprint. Yeah. When you see the cases of New Glarus beer, you sit there and you go, man, I really need one of those. I was like working at one point and I was like, ooh, I really want to buy one of those right now, but I also really don't want to buy it while I'm working and then
Yeah.
also like leave it in the car for hours.
Yeah.
So I didn't buy it, but I think they had some mixed packs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, are you ready for our last beer?
Yes, I am.
It is the Spotted Cow Grand Cru.
Oh?
So this beer has a 9% ABV.
Holy shit.
It is the Imperial Edition of Wisconsin's favorite local brew. It has a fresh coriander and sweet orange peel kick
Ooh.
to kick up this classic ale. Yes. It is their Spotted Cow on steroids.
I love that.
It is, yeah.
That sounds good, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Thank you.
New Glarus Brewing Company.
Well, I just want to say thank you for bringing me beer. Because if you were going to sit here and talk to me about, like, my literal favorite brewing company and not give me a beer, I probably would have up and left already.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been like, I'm going to the store, goodbye.
And next week I brought props too for that one.
Yeah.
For next week's episode. But
Yeah.
yeah, I brought... We recorded that one first.
Which
But
is a really good thing.
yes, after we were done with that episode, I think we had a moment where we were talking about my bottle caps.
Yeah.
And so Jade was like, I could go for a beer. And we stood up at the end of our recording and I said, you want a beer?
Yeah.
And she said, yes, I do.
Yeah, I do.
And I went, thank goodness, because also you said you had a headache this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh no, she's not going to want any beer.
Hell, I'll drink a beer. I don't have a problem with it.
So there you have it.
You'd
And
have
I
to
also
fight
was
me.
worried that I didn't have Spotted Cow because
Yeah.
I thought it was all at Zach's.
Oh,
But there was some in the basement.
good.
At the very
I wonder how old it is.
back. I bought that last
okay.
year.
I got a variety pack. That's where the Totally Naked came from.
Ah, yes. Do you not really like it? Or why did you leave it? Because this Totally Naked is fermented, just old.
I wonder how.
I had one
ends up.
about this time last year, and it was fine. But it's been a whole year since then, even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, and I know, like, it's just, I don't drink beer every day, so it's hard to make it through all of them.
Yeah.
I probably bought the Pilsner, like, this time-ish last year, too.
Yeah. Well, you're also a Pilsner girly, though, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I bought, like an 8-pack or something of the Pilsner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think I probably got the same amount of Spotted Cow. I think Zach bought the Spotted Cow.
Mm-hmm.
We went over to the liquor store.
Yeah.
Bought that.
If you want to sit and enjoy a beer, choose a New Glarus.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to sit and sip and, like, taste it, New Glarus. Mm-hmm. If you're looking to just chug a beer, get your regular cheap beer that you normally get.
Yeah.
Like,
they are meaty beers.
Yes. Yeah, this is not something I would recommend trying to slam.
Yeah.
Because they are full. Mm-hmm. They're delicious and you don't want to miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And if that rock is coming towards your stomach acid, it's not going to be happy when it reaches there. If you're chugging it, it's going to hurt. You're going to feel...
that rock.
Yeah, the rock.
Yeah.
They're thick.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, you should...
That's just how I feel.
You should go for, like...
Get you a Busch
Bud
Light.
Busch Light, Bud Light, if you just want to not taste it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or a Miller Lite. Yeah, if you're just drinking to drink. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I want to have a good beer, get you a New Glarus.
Yeah.
If you're in Wisconsin. Otherwise, if anyone outside of the state of Wisconsin is selling you New Glarus, report them to the beer police. I don't actually know what the rule is there.
If we haven't convinced you to run to Wisconsin yet, I hope that this was the day.
Yeah.
Run. Run to Wisconsin.
Don't
run
walk.
to your local. Yeah. Run, don't walk.
Mm-hmm. And
Run
if
to
you grew up in Wisconsin and have since moved away, it might be time for a visit. Mm-hmm. To get yourself a good case of New Glarus, at the very least. Mm-hmm.
I know we have cousins in Minnesota, and every time they're in Wisconsin, they're like, "Spotted Cow, give me it now."
Yep, they're right there.
Give me an IV drip.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta get it in me.
I think that's probably why they attend so many concerts in Wisconsin. Because they're a lot closer to Minneapolis. They're like, shit.
Yeah.
They got Spotted Cow.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Cheese, a Healthy Fruit. Our cover art is by MJ Hennessey. Our theme song is by Melina Marchese. You can find her at melinamarchese.com. Follow the podcast on Instagram at cheese_a_healthy_fruit, Jade at Jade Powers with an extra S, and Cydel at Cydel Powers, spelled Cydel. If you have any questions or want to submit a story from your childhood, email us at cheeseahealthyfruit@gmail.com. Sources can be found in the show notes. You can find Cheese, a Healthy Fruit wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Subscribe to Cheese, a Healthy Fruit and leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting app. See you next time. Bye-bye.